It is a stark and beautiful landscape, Antarctica. It is about 1.5 times larger than the United States and is home to the world's largest desert. 98% of Antarctica is covered with a continental ice sheet. The remaining 2% of land is barren. But Antarctica is a storehouse of Earth history and contains many clues about its possible future. Studying sections of ice core going back 800,000 years, scientists at the British Antarctic Survey have come to some stark conclusions about climate change. The survey presented the results of its 8-year study at the University of East Anglia. They confirmed there has been an unprecedented growth in greenhouse gases over the past 50 years. The Antarctic climate provides an ideal base for studying climate change. Conditions ensure that snow doesn't melt as elsewhere. Air bubbles are trapped in the ice for thousands of years, providing natural records of climate change. The European Project for Ice Core in Antarctica, EPICA, has brought together the scientists of 10 European countries. They've been drilling in an area known as Dome Sea, where the ice core is just over 3 kilometres long, descending to depths where air bubbles were trapped 800,000 years ago.
The way it works is you have to drill into the ice bit by bit. You can only bring up about 3 metres of ice at a time, which at the site we're talking about is a few hundred years at a time. Then you bring it up and then you lower the drill again and drill the next section. And if you repeat that 1,000 times, you get to the bottom of the ice sheet where you find ice that's getting close to 1 million years old.
What they found delivered a clear message. The carbon dioxide emissions in the atmosphere have increased by 30% in the past 150 years, with an accelerated rise in the last half-century. The scientists emphasise that every country and continent needs to improve its fuel efficiency and reduce CO2 emissions. But there can be a different approach between the developed and developing nations, taking the fast-growing economies of India and China as examples.
There is a little bit of scope for increase in CO2 before it has to go down quite a lot. In our countries, at the beginning, 30 years ago, we were emitting much more CO2 for the energy produced, and now we've become much more efficient. As China and India are growing, they can benefit from this technology transfer so that at the moment they could use energy without emitting so much CO2 as we have.
Analysis of the ice core conducted at various European laboratories shows how fast carbon emissions have risen. Making best use of technology to reduce emissions is, in the scientists' view, a vital element.
Within this 20-30 year period, then the developing countries will have grown and gotten out of poverty in many cases, and then they can also switch to renewable energy. We have time, we just have to be organized and focused to reducing the global emissions.
The survey team was in doubt as to the strength of their survey results. The figures in the survey indicated that for 800,000 years, carbon dioxide levels were between 180 and 300 parts per million. That is the number of molecules in the atmosphere. Now it has risen to 380 parts per million.
The concentrations in the last half century are much higher than anything that we see naturally in the last 800,000 years, and perhaps even more striking, the rate of increase is so fast. It's about 50 times faster than anything we see in the natural record, which is too fast probably for the Earth to cope with.
The judgment of the scientists in Antarctica is that if we don't make the best use of technology in reducing global emissions of carbon dioxide and methane, future generations will pay the penalty.